Have you ever wondered what happens to that plastic water bottle after you toss it away? It doesn't just disappear. Its journey is far more complex and has a much bigger impact than you might think. Today, we're going to follow the incredible, and sometimes terrifying, story of a single plastic bottle from its creation to its final destination. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll never look at that simple bottle the same way again. Our story begins deep underground, not as a bottle, but as crude oil. This black gold is pumped from the earth, the fossilized remains of ancient life. It travels through pipelines to a massive refinery where it's heated and distilled into various components. One of these components is a substance called naphtha. This is the key ingredient. Through a chemical process called polymerization, the naphtha is transformed into tiny pellets of polyethylene terephthalate, or as we all know it, PESA. These little resin pellets are the building blocks, the very DNA of our plastic bottle. From the chemical plant, these pellets are shipped to a bottling factory. Imagine a place buzzing with machinery, a symphony of whirring, clanking, and hissing. Here, the PET pellets are melted down into a molten, honey-like liquid. This liquid is then injected into a mold shaped like a small, thick test tube called a preform. You might have seen these before. They look like tiny, stubby versions of the final bottle. Now for the magic moment. These preforms are heated again and placed into a larger, bottle-shaped mold. A jet of high-pressure air is shot inside, instantly inflating the preform like a balloon. In a split second, it stretches and cools, taking on the familiar shape of a crystal-clear water bottle. It's a process of incredible speed and precision, repeated thousands of times an hour. Our bottle is born. But it's still just an empty shell. Its journey continues down a conveyor belt. First, it gets a thorough cleaning, rinsed and sterilized to ensure it's perfectly safe for us to drink from. Then it moves to the filling station. A spout descends and pure, filtered water rushes in, filling our bottle to the brim. A capping machine immediately seals it tight, locking in the freshness. Next, it zips through a labeling machine that wraps it in a branded sleeve, giving it an identity. It's no longer just a clear container. It's now a product ready for the world. Packed into cases, loaded onto pallets, and forklifted into a massive truck, our bottle embarks on the next leg of its journey. It travels across highways, maybe for hundreds of miles, to a distribution center. From there, it's shipped out again, this time to a local supermarket. Workers unload the truck, and finally, our bottle is placed on a brightly lit shelf, standing in a neat row with hundreds of identical siblings, waiting patiently. And then you come along. Maybe you're thirsty after a workout, or you're grabbing a quick drink on your lunch break. You see the bottle gleaming under the store lights. You pick it up, feel the cool, smooth plastic in your hand, you buy it. For a brief time, this bottle is your companion. You drink from it, rehydrate, and once the last drop is gone, you're faced with a choice. And this is where our story splits into two very different paths. This is the fork in the road. Let's first explore the hopeful path, Path A, the path of recycling. You see a recycling bin and you toss the empty bottle inside. This simple act sets in motion a whole new journey of transformation. A collection truck arrives and hauls the contents of the bin to a materials recovery facility, a place often called AMRF. This is a massive, noisy, and fascinating place. Here, a mountain of mixed recyclables, paper, glass, metal, and plastic is sorted. Our bottle travels along a series of conveyor belts, past spinning wheels, and under powerful magnets. Advanced optical scanners use jets of air to identify it as PET plastic and push it onto the correct sorting line. It's a high-tech treasure hunt. Once separated with other PET bottles, it's crushed and compressed into a giant, dense bale, weighing over 1,000 pounds. These bales are then sold and transported to a specialized plastics reclamation facility. At this facility, the real recycling begins. The bales are broken apart and the bottles are shredded into small, confetti-like pieces called flakes. These flakes then go through a rigorous cleaning process. They're washed in hot water and chemicals to remove any leftover liquid, dirt, and most importantly, the paper and glue from the labels. Then comes a clever bit of science. The flakes are put into a large water bath. The PET plastic, which is denser, sinks to the bottom, while the plastic from the caps and rings, which is a different type, floats to the top. This separation is crucial for purity. The clean PET flakes are then dried, melted down, and filtered to remove any remaining impurities. The molten plastic is then forced through tiny holes to create long spaghetti-like strands. These strands are cooled in water and chopped into small, uniform pellets. Look familiar? They look just like the virgin PET pellets we started with at the very beginning. Our bottle has been reborn. These recycled pellets, called rPET, are now a valuable raw material. They can be blended with virgin PET to make new food-grade bottles, effectively closing the loop. Or they can be spun into soft, durable fibers. What do those fibers become? You might be wearing them right now. They're used to make fleece jackets, carpets, t-shirts, and even stuffing for sleeping bags and pillows. Our single plastic bottle, through your choice to recycle, has been given a second life, saving energy, reducing waste, and conserving natural resources. It's a story of redemption. But what if you didn't choose the recycling bin? What if you tossed the bottle into a regular trash can, or even worse, just dropped it on the ground? This leads us down the much darker path, Path B, the path of pollution. If it ends up in a general waste bin, its journey is short and grim. It's collected by a garbage truck and taken to a landfill. There, it's buried under tons of other trash. Unlike organic waste, our plastic bottle doesn't biodegrade. It's designed to be durable, to last, and it does. It will sit there, entombed in the earth, for hundreds of years. Some estimates say up to 500 years or more, leaching potentially harmful chemicals into the soil and groundwater as it very slowly breaks down. It becomes a permanent scar on the landscape, a monument to a moment of convenience. The fate of a bottle discarded carelessly in the environment is even more tragic. Let's say it's dropped in a city street. The next time it rains, rainwater washes it into a storm drain. This drain doesn't lead to a water treatment plant. It empties directly into a local river. Now, our bottle is a traveler again, but this time it's an unwelcome one. It floats downstream, a piece of plastic debris in a natural ecosystem. It bobs along past trees and wildlife, a stark reminder of human impact. The river eventually flows into the ocean. Our bottle joins an ever-growing tide of plastic waste. It's caught in ocean currents, vast, swirling systems that act like global conveyor belts. These currents can carry it for thousands of miles across the open sea. Over time, it will likely find its way to one of the 5 major ocean gyres, massive rotating currents where marine debris accumulates. The most infamous of these is the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. This isn't an island of trash you can walk on. It's more like a plastic soup, a vast area of the ocean where debris is concentrated, stretching for hundreds of thousands of square miles. Here, our bottle is trapped. Exposed to the relentless sun and the churning waves, it begins to photodegrade. It doesn't disappear, it just breaks apart. The sun's UV rays make the plastic brittle, and the waves smash it into smaller and smaller pieces. First it breaks into fragments, then into microplastics, tiny particles less than 5 millimeters in size. These microplastics are insidious. They are so small that they are ingested by marine life, from the tiniest plankton to fish, turtles, and seabirds. These animals mistake the colorful plastic bits for food. The plastic fills their stomachs, leading to malnutrition, internal injuries, and starvation. And it doesn't stop there. As smaller fish are eaten by larger fish, the plastic works its way up the food chain. That means these microplastics can end up on our own dinner plates and the seafood we eat. The bottle we threw away has circled back to us in the most harmful way imaginable. So, one bottle, 2 vastly different destinies. One becomes a useful new product, contributing to a more circular economy. The other becomes a permanent pollutant, a toxic legacy that will harm our planet for centuries. The difference between these 2 paths? A single choice. Your choice. The scale of the problem is staggering. Humans produce hundreds of millions of tons of plastic every year, and a terrifyingly small percentage of that is actually recycled. But knowing the story of just one bottle shows us that our individual actions have power. What can we do? The first and most important step is to reduce. The best way to prevent plastic pollution is to not create the waste in the first place. Carry a reusable water bottle. Choose products with less plastic packaging. Say no to single-use plastics whenever you can. When you do use plastic, make the conscious choice to recycle. Learn about the recycling rules in your community. Rinse out your containers. Make sure you're putting the right things in the right bin. That one small act, taking a few extra seconds to recycle properly, can divert a bottle from a landfill or the ocean and give it a new purpose. The journey of a single plastic bottle is a powerful story about cause and effect. It shows us that our small, everyday decisions ripple outwards, creating a future that is either cleaner and more sustainable or one that is choked with waste. The next time you hold a plastic bottle in your hand, remember its journey, remember the fork in the road, and choose the path that leads to a better world. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content that explores the world around us. Let's make a difference, one bottle at a time.